What's up, guys? I know, it's been a minute. It's been about 6+ months. I can't even remember the last time I actually posted a YouTube video, to be honest with you. I want to explain why, where I've been, what's been going on in my life, give you a general life update about myself, as well as what is going to happen in the future of my business and this channel. So if you've been following me for a while, tune in and just going to share with you what's been going on. So, about 6 months ago now, this was actually back in the end of December, beginning of January. Um, I actually found out, well, let me back up. Let me back up for a minute. So, towards the end of last year, I was struggling a lot with my business, with creating content, just, literally like daily functions, just the basics like cooking meals, like just doing basic stuff was extremely difficult for me, and I couldn't figure out why. For example, there was some construction noise that was going on outside of my condo at the time, and it literally felt like it was debilitating. I couldn't function without wearing headphones for an entire week because that noise was just so debilitating for me. And I couldn't figure out what was going on, why I felt so like drained every day, and why I was like just struggling with I just seem to be struggling with everything. And so I'm still just because I'm such a I don't know, I'm such a strong-minded person that I continued to run my business. I continued to support my clients because it's not their fault I'm going through something, right? They paid me for a service. They paid me because they wanted to grow their business, so I'm not going to let my clients down. But I was literally suffering. It was really fucking bad, and I couldn't figure out what was happening to me. And so I went to a doctor, and I ended up seeing a psychologist and taking a bunch of tests and going through all of this shit for weeks. I was like being interviewed, and I had to go see a panel and all these other things, right? And it turned out that I was actually diagnosed with autism, or AUDHD. AUDHD is a combination of autism and ADHD. And for someone like me that's I'm very like mellow. I'm just like a super chill person. I would have never thought that that looked like ADHD because it doesn't present that way. And I would have never thought that I was autistic. But as I reflected back on my life and the things that, have really been difficult for me that didn't really seem difficult for the rest of the world, I've always known that I was different. I just didn't know why. And so, in the most simplistic way possible, this was a very difficult time for me because, on one hand, it made so much sense and it validated like all of my life experiences since the day I came out of the womb, right? But at the same time, it was like I had to grieve for the person who has struggled their entire life. Like, most people don't know this about me, but when I was younger, I think I'm just guessing here. I don't remember the exact time frames, but from the age of like 5 to, I don't know, my teens, like 12, 13, 14, something like that, I pretty much was mute. Like, it's not that I couldn't talk. It was called selective mutism, and it's not that I couldn't talk, but like I just refused to speak. I wouldn't talk to my family. I wouldn't talk to anyone else. And my mom tried to send me to therapy and all this other stuff, and I eventually grew out of it, I guess. But it's crazy that I literally get paid to speak, and this is how I make money. But yeah, communication has always been hard for me. My mom and my sister had told me like they didn't even know if I was really going to make it in general society because I wouldn't I wouldn't talk. When it comes to autism, if you could imagine like the sounds that you hear every day, down to like this all senses, right? What you smell, what you hear, what you see. Like, let's say the rest of the population is at like a level 5. When they hear something, the noise is at a level 5, but for an autistic person it's cranked up to a level 10, so they're experiencing every single thing around them at a level 10 with all senses, and they're taking that in all day every day. Like, I remember when I was working in corporate, when I was running an IT consulting business at the time, I would sometimes have to go into the offices of the clients I was working with. And I just remember like one of the offices I'd go into every day, there was just so many people around all the time. So I remember sitting at my desk and people kept crowding around my desk and the people next to me, and they would be talking to each other, talking to me, whatever, just having like multiple conversations at the same time. And it would get so bad that every time it happened, I would literally have to leave my desk, go to the bathroom, sit in the stall, and I would just sit there like this with my head down and be like breathing intensely and trying to like, I don't even know what I was trying to do. I was just trying to calm down because I was so overstimulated by all the voices around me because it was just too much. I would get so overstimulated all the time, and I didn't know why. I just knew that it was so hard for me to just function in daily life. But I was like, okay, so the solution is, well, I'll just work from home and I won't work with any clients that wanted me to actually show up in person. And so that kind of solved the problem for a while, but I never really thought to myself, like, why is this so hard for me versus other people? So that brings me to like social situations, right? Being in group situations and not necessarily always being aware of societal norms and stuff like that. I typically, because I'm so blunt and direct, and like I don't see any point in lying or sugarcoating. So if I say something, I say it because I mean it, and it's because it's true to me, right? But that's kind of frowned upon because people want you to sugarcoat. There's like societal norms that you need to abide by. Otherwise, people think that you're rude or that you're stuck up or whatever. So I've always had to like try to, I don't know, almost like change how I communicate. And I've never quite understood why people act the way that they act and do the things that they do because it just doesn't make sense to me. And so I've always known that I didn't see the world the same as other people did. And that's, given me a lot of strengths, but it's also, it's a double-edged sword. When I got the diagnosis, it was definitely a shock for me. And at the same time, no one really believed me when I told them because they were like, no, they were like, there's no way that you're autistic. And everyone was like, "Oh, you're too smart, you're too this, you're too that. There's no way." And I'm just like, yeah, because I've never really explained what my internal world is like. I've never explained how much I actually struggle in daily life. I've never explained how much I'm suffering and just like pushing through things that are normal to everyone else. And so I was glad that I got the diagnosis because it helped me kind of grieve for the previous version of myself that was, treated as like controlling, or I was too difficult, or I was too sensitive, or I was too this or too that or whatever. And it's helped me understand myself a lot more and create and feel okay about creating accommodations for myself, not just in my life, but even in my business, because I really enjoy working with clients, but at the same time, the way that I was going about it, the way that I approached my business was not built for someone like me. And so it's allowed me to rebuild my business from the ground up in a way that actually fits me. It's really helped me to restructure my life, and I feel a lot better about it now. And I've done the work to get to a better place with it. And so yeah, in the middle of all of that, I continued to work with clients, and most of my clients had either like 3 or 6 month contracts at the time. And I just kind of let those clients phase out. When their contracts ended, I stopped working with them. I didn't allow them to renew, and I got myself together. So yeah, right now I'm in Vietnam at the moment, just on like a little weekend getaway. Wanted to take myself on vacation. And yeah, so now moving forward, let's get into, kind of the next chapter. Like, what's the next chapter for my business, for this YouTube channel, and for the clients that I'm going to be working with moving forward? I would say that the major shifts that I made in my business is implementing what I call the freedom equation, which is something that I had built maybe 3 to 4 years ago now. But when I was still doing IT consulting work at the time, I only had a set amount of time that I could work on this business when I was trying to grow it. And so I came up with a plan to work 4 hours a day, 4 days a week, and then I would have, the weekends off or whatever to build this business while I was still trying to maintain my current business in IT. And the freedom equation came down to 4 hours a day, 4 days a week, and the four freedoms. And the four freedoms were time, location, wealth, and identity. Identity meaning me getting paid to just be who the fuck I am, right? To show up, to be authentic to myself, to not like be performative in my content. And whoever vibes with me, right? That's all it was. I've found that over the course of working with multiple clients and and really implementing the systems that I had built and applying it on myself as well, like it served me really well in the sense that it gave me exactly what I was looking for. And I strayed away from it because I was going so hard in my business and I was working long hours and over delivering for clients, to be honest, way more than like what they actually paid me for, just because, to be honest, like I just cared so much about my clients. Like I just wanted to see my clients win, and sometimes the things that they would create just weren't cutting it, so I would do some of their work for them, and I would over deliver in ways that I really shouldn't have been doing, but I just cared about them so much, and so I was trying to help them or whatever. But I was overworking, I was over delivering, and I strayed away from, you know, why I really built this business and what I really wanted to gain from it and what I wanted to help people with. And so AI has allowed me to build a business that actually operates on those standards. And now my goal is to help people like you build that same type of system for your business. So what I've realized about myself is that I really enjoy building systems. And of course, I've always known that I'm definitely a nerd. I've always been a nerd. Um, and that's just, my IT background. I was an IT architect, and I ran a consulting business for, I think, yeah, about 12 years. And so I would work with customers like Microsoft and Boeing and Chase Bank and PIMCO and Ernst and Young, just, like a lot of either they were just like massive, massive companies or they were large consulting companies. And I would help them automate all of their back end systems. And because of that, I was able to get access to AI before it was even given to the general public. And so I had already been working with AI prior to when most people got access to it and building systems for these companies to automate all the shit that they were doing. But it also meant that I needed to understand how their business worked at a fundamental level, how they acquired clients, how they would market themselves, and how they work with those clients on a consulting basis too. And so it was really cool to see how these massive, massive companies that are signing, multi-million dollar contracts for advising and consulting other businesses on how they were making their money, how they were positioning themselves, how they were structuring their offers. And I was able to see behind the scenes on how they do that. And so I feel very lucky and grateful now in the position that I'm in for having those experiences, because it allows me to help my clients so much better. But at the same time, I realized that I needed to make some changes with the types of clients that I was working with, because the systems that I was building were for a little bit more advanced clients that were already a little bit further along in their business. And that's no shade to like anybody that I've ever worked with in the past that was a beginner, for example. Not at all, because I loved my clients. My clients were great. It's just that I feel like I am better served for someone that's a little bit more advanced, someone that is, of a more long-term mindset, right? Because I want to help people build systems for the next 5 years so that they're not having to rebuild things just because AI had another update or because there's more capabilities now with the technologies and stuff like that. I realize that there are a lot of business owners out there that just are not technical people, and all of the shit scares them, right? They don't want to learn how to use Claude Code and all the other LLMs. They don't give a shit about building systems. They're just trying to run a business and they don't have time for that. So I'm actually going to start a done for you offer that will help business owners who are looking to scale and looking to just serve their clients better and build an AI infrastructure on the back end of their business. I'm going to start helping clients do that, just a very selective, small amount of clients at a time. This is not something that is scalable, and I don't want it to be. It's just something that I truly, truly enjoy. And who better to help people in the coaching world than someone who is a fucking IT architect? And I realize that that's a very, very unique advantage that I have in this market, because there's not another single coach that I've ever met in the business coaching space that was an IT architect in a past life. So yeah, I'm super excited about opening up that done for you offer. And I've rebuilt my entire program around serving clients that are a little bit more advanced, at least making 10K plus a month, and they're ready to scale. They're ready to simplify. They're ready to remove the complexity, They want a clear path, clear structure, and just one simple plan that they can move forward with. And that's actually going to help them grow and scale their business and not spend all of their time having to serve their clients and do all these other things that AI can help them with. I know that there are a lot of people that are afraid of AI. People are not interested in AI in terms of, their clients and shit like that. But my way of building systems is not meant to remove the human touch from business. It's meant to keep the human touch and allow the coach more freedom to really work within their zone of genius, which is serving their clients in the best way possible, but giving them the tools to help their clients when they're not around and to help them execute things more efficiently. So yeah, I don't want this video to be like a fucking pitch fest or anything like that. It's just like me being real with you guys and saying what's on my mind. So I just wanted to give you guys, a bit of a life update, let you know what's been going on and why I haven't been able to create content, stuff like that. So yeah, the future of this channel looks like me really going deep on how to solve core business problems for coaches, consultants, experts who are getting paid for their expertise and who are serving clients who want transformation. And so it's going to look like, I'm probably going to do less like heavily edited videos, and I'm going to be doing some like ugly whiteboard videos because I'm really into that shit right now. And it helps me get content out there faster because from the production side of things, like I would script the video, film it, send it to an editor. We go back and forth. It takes the editor about a week just to give me like a final output of the video. And then we go back and forth for days and days on revisions. And it's just too much. Like the time and the effort and the energy, inconsistency with editors, it's just a lot. This is going to allow me to produce content faster. It's going to be ugly, but I don't care because the information, y'all, I'm going to be giving y'all some sauce. Like, trust me. So if you've been here for a while, I appreciate you being on the channel. I appreciate you supporting me in any way that you have. And I'm honestly, I'm excited. I'm excited for this new era, for this new chapter. And I'm really, really excited to help people scale their business, help people that are like already in momentum and that just really need the right mentor, the right guide to help them take the fuck off. You know what I mean? That's like the most fun thing for me to do. Like every client that's come through the door that already had momentum and they were just like struggling in certain areas, and I could give them clarity and help them build systems around what it is they needed to accomplish. Like to see them thrive is like it's crazy. It's just crazy. Blows my mind every time. But yeah, so appreciate you being here, and I will see you in the next video, and it's going to be an ugly whiteboard video. So later.